Where do I clap? This? Like this? Hey everyone, my name is Tremaine and I have a great love for pole dancing and yoga, and in this video we're making a connection between the two. There's a few things I learned in yoga that has really helped in my pole dancing. So it's kind of like Yopo, Poyo, Yolo, Poga, Kroyo. You get what I mean. I'm really noticing my little tics. Even though some pole dancers make it look all easy and effortless, the reality is pole dancing is a really tough sport. And like with any other sport or physical activity, unfortunately, injuries do and will probably occur. Some might think that hanging upside down is probably the most tricky and dangerous part of pole dancing. And sure, doing a face plant sliding off the pole is probably not the best feeling. We don't want that. But in fact, it's the more subtle and continuous strain you put on your back and I don't know what's wrong with me today, wait. But in fact, it's the more subtle, continuous strain that you have on your back and major joints that you have to watch out for. Just as much as I always warm up before I hit the pole, I also have 3 stretches that I do after every pole workout to make sure that my body recovers well and avoid long-term strain. And the cool thing is, they don't come from the world of pole dancing, but from the world of yoga. Let me take you through each stretch. If you have a yoga mat, great. If not, a towel will do. The most important thing to note here is to make sure that you have a soft and comfortable surface so you don't further strain your knees and your hands. The first stretch is going to be the dynamic cat-cow pose. Get into a tabletop position, meaning your hands and knees are on the floor, hands shoulder width apart, knees hips width apart, and you're going to go between the movements of arching your spine and rounding your spine. So when you arch your spine, you're pulling your shoulders down and back and making sure that your tailbone is up towards the sky. And when you round your spine, you do the opposite movement of curling in your hips to your body and let your head hang low. And it's a dynamic cat-cow pose because you're going to move into each of these positions at your own pace, making sure that you're feeling the stretch all over your back and your arms. No sharp pains. You can even change your wrist positions to have your hands face kind of diagonally outside to also kind of change the stretch on your wrist and your hands and your arms as well. Do this several times, rotating between the cow pose, which is when you arch your back, and when you round your spine, the cat pose. If you like, you can continue doing these poses, or you can follow along with me to the next pose, which is the camel pose. So the camel pose traditionally is done with your knees, also hip width apart. Your kind of body is upright, and then your the top of your foot is flat on the floor. But for the purpose of this stretch, I prefer to have my toes on the floor like this because it's going to give me more balance and give me a bigger stretch. So once you're in this position, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to circle your right hand in a big round to reach your ankle, your right ankle. Now, once you've got a good balance, you're going to push your hips forward to make sure you're stretching your hips. And your right shoulder, you're going to look right over your shoulder and then lift your left arm to also give you the stretch on the left side of your body. Now remember, if this is too much for you, you don't have to lift your left hand. You can use it to support your hips, making sure that you're still getting the stretch on your right side. Again, no sharp pains, good stretch feeling. To get out of this pose, you sit back down, okay, and reset. Now you can repeat that on the other side. Big circle with your left arm to the top of your left foot. Push your hips forward. This movement comes from the hips and not your shoulders. That's a common mistake. Okay, once you're comfortable here, you're feeling the stretch in your hips. There's also your left shoulder. You can lift your right arm like before. We did it with our left arm. Again, no sharp pains, making sure you're stretching your left shoulder, left hip, and the right side of your body. Again, if this is too much for you, you can use your right hand to support your hip. You can stay here as long as you're comfortable, or you can reset like before, sit back down and go back to the original position. You can do this several times, or if you're feeling really strong and steady, you can follow me in doing this with both your arms to stretch your shoulders, your hips, and just hang your head back like this. Remember, the movement comes from pushing your hips forward and not your chest. To reset, hold on to one leg, or one foot rather. Sit back down. Come back to a neutral position. You can continue doing that on your own a few more times, or if you'd like to come along with me to the last pose, which is an active child pose. Now, most of the time when you come to a child pose in a yoga session, it's when you're fully relaxed and you're just taking and catching up with your breathing, which you can also do here. However, I would like to take a more active stretch, meaning I'm actually still engaging and using my muscles, but in an active recovery way. So let me talk you through that. So a child pose, again, top of your foot flat on the ground. The original position from the camel is going to be too hard, so you're going to change your foot like this. Have your hips sit back on your back of your foot. Now, some people have a bit of issues in terms of their mobility and not being able to sit completely back on their foot. You can have a cushion here to help you with that, not an issue. And then you're going to lean forward from your hips like this and put your hands in front of you and have them outstretched. Now, this is where you can get into just a child pose, but in an active child pose, we're going to reach our arms forward even further with our hands spread out until we feel a bit of a stretch coming from under and top of our arms. And you're going to try and push your hips back and sit back even more. This should give a nice little elongation and stretch from your under your arms all the way to the top of your fingers and alongside of your body, as well as the back of your hips. The whole idea here is to have your arms outstretched and you're pushing your forearms down towards the floor. Again, do it at a pace or a place where it's comfortable for you. No sharp pains. A really nice long elongation of your muscles and release of any tension and strain that you had from your workout before. Now you can stay in this position for as long as you like, or come back up. I like to finish my stretching with a bit of just head rotations, just kind of loosening up the muscles again. Give it a bit of a shake. And that was it. Thank you for spending some of your hard-earned time and energy with me today. Leave any questions or comments in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe!